Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Jordana Rothschild, and I'm being joined by Dr. Erika Rappaport to tell you the story of Alpine Health.
When I was a teenager, I was definitely the smartest I've ever been. That's how teenagers are. I have one now. So I had it all figured out. I was going to go to college, take my pre-med classes, go to med school, be a doctor. Simple, right? I got really good grades and was really goal-oriented. I went to an Ivy, I studied all day, didn't exercise, survived on cottage cheese and veggie burgers, and stayed up all night studying. Basically, I was a workaholic. That was until my body betrayed me. Burned out, stressed, and depleted, I got so sick that my doctors weren't sure that I was going to survive. Some of you remember that. It was a really bad time. It was a rude awakening, and it forced me to change the way I was living my life. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was my first introduction to mind-body medicine. Then came med school, and the pressure was even greater. So looking around at my classmates, I could kind of divide them into two groups of people. There were the super intense, study all the time, really high-strung people, and they kind of looked like they were about to snap. And then there were the relaxed, chill students who still got good grades, but managed to find time to go to the beach and have a good time. I was forced to be in that second group of the beachgoers because of my health, even though naturally, you guys know, I'm definitely the type A, high stress type. As I learned more about the science of medicine, it reinforced my lifestyle behaviors. I learned the biochemistry and physiology of stress, nutrition, exercise, social connectedness, and how they all impact the human body. For the last decade, I've been seeing patients for so many different things: headaches, back pain, insomnia, high blood pressure, addiction, even just the simple cough or cold. The thing is, none of those come in a vacuum. The person coming down with the cold, she felt it start after she'd been staying up every night till 3 a.m. working on a deadline. The guy who blew out his shoulder moving a table, he was stressed, rushing, didn't focus on his posture or ask for help. Plus, he'd been sitting all day working from home and had stopped the exercise routine he had before COVID. That's not to say that a stressful life guarantees that you're going to get hurt or sick, or that having a healthy lifestyle is going to solve all your problems. There's no magic bullet. But I realized that people just want to enjoy their lives and feel a little less bad than they do right now. I just want to feel better. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say those words. And it's not just my patients. It's my friends, my family, my colleagues. And since the pandemic, everything's gotten worse. I sat there day after day, listening to all the cranky, tired, burned out, stressed out people all around me. On my last birthday, in the peak of the pandemic, it dawned on me that I'm looking at everything backwards. It's not that I should keep focusing on the disease first and incorporating lifestyle medicine on the side. It's that the way we live is the core of everything, and we can't treat one without the other. And here's the thing, all those people who don't feel well, I actually know how to help them. I'm really good at helping people get to the bottom of things and start feeling better. So I thought, why am I not doing that full time? I mean, I've spent the last 15 years of my life working with patients, community groups, learning about lifestyle medicine and mind-body medicine. I have all this knowledge and experience. So many of us right now are in so much pain, and I'm actually really good at helping with that. So how can I not be doing it more? The next obvious step for me is to start something new, a new way of practicing medicine full-time in a place where I can help people feel better by looking at the whole context. So You finally get my big announcement. I am so excited to introduce you all to Alpine Health. Alpine is a community of people learning to practice lifestyle and mind-body medicine together. It's named Alpine for two reasons. The first is after my grandfather, J.B. Brown. My grandpa died of a heart attack when he was 53 years old, and it left a giant hole in my family. Alpine is named after the small town in Texas where he was from. I never got to meet my grandpa, but my hope is that we can help other people stick around and be healthy enough to enjoy their grandkids. The second reason is that getting to health and wellness is kind of like climbing a mountain. There are so many paths to get there and bumps and obstacles along the way, and we're the guides that climb up with you. So to do all of this, I'm teaming up with Erika Rappaport. She's a school psychologist that I've already been working with for several years, running programs just like the ones we plan to run now, including mind-body medicine programs. We've been doing this for a while with lots of different types of people, and we know that it works. When it comes to mind-body medicine, I've got the physical health part covered. But when it comes to mental health, there's nobody I trust more than Erika. Erika is the kind of person who will do whatever it takes to reach out to you, to connect to you on your terms, and to make sure that whatever you really need is being addressed. She is relentless in her drive to get it right, to show up for every single person in the best way possible. Erika, thanks for being my partner in all of this.
Happy birthday, Jay. I am so proud of you and so proud to know you. And there is no person that I would rather go on this adventure with and partner with than you. I'd like to share a little bit about what led me to mind-body medicine. I've had a lifetime of starting over. When I look back on my childhood, it was a magical time. My mother was actively involved in my school. She'd come in and do projects with the class. And do performances that my parents would watch. We'd wake up early, we'd drive to Disney World. It was a great time. And we moved a lot. Every time, starting over. When I think about my later childhood, the picture shifts a little bit. My parents had a really ugly divorce that dragged out over years. My mom became the stressed out single mother of 3 young girls. And it just seemed for a while that my entire family was in conflict. And then another move, another new start. And it was a lot. It was stressful and I was anxious all the time. After 1 year at high school, I switched schools again. One more new start. This time though, it was a couple of blocks away from the World Trade Center in September 2001. So displaced, we started over again. We later returned to our building, but it obviously wasn't the same. My grades definitely dipped, but stress and anxiety was straight A's. I was worried about the health risks of being in the area, but I was also really sad looking down on ground zero. It was a lot of change. There was a tremendous amount of uncertainty, a lot of fear. Really, it wasn't so different from what our kids today are experiencing during this pandemic. I started college in my 20s, and I chose my major when I learned the impact a school psychologist could have. For my dissertation, my sponsor and I initially planned to study biomarkers of stress, but complications arose, so we changed course. And that was another new start, but this time that was on my terms. And though I'm a school psychologist, I studied stress in parents because they're the people kids watch the most. We tested mindfulness training for parents just to see how it would impact the relationship between the parent and their early adolescent kids. And guys, it worked. It was fun and it really changed things. The next challenge was becoming a parent myself. It took 4 years of fertility treatments. At one point, my husband and I were 2 weeks away from a transfer when we had to scrap the entire cycle. It was another new start, and I cried my eyes out. I questioned whether I was even supposed to be a parent and whether I was missing some sign from the universe. But eventually, I picked myself up and I started again, just like I have so many other times in my life. But what was different this time was that I wasn't as tightly wound up about it as I had been in the past. I had started to focus on gratitude, despite the very long list of complications I'd ultimately faced during my pregnancy. Every morning, I took 3 deep breaths and I was grateful. I had learned how little control I truly had over everything. And so I was deliberately placing my energy and my efforts somewhere else. I didn't even find out the baby's sex because I was just really grateful to be pregnant and I didn't need to know anything beyond that. And Matthew was born and he was perfect. And even though he's almost 2, he still is pretty perfect. My delivery was also complicated. I even had to be readmitted to the hospital a few days later. But I focused on relaxation, on gratitude, deep breathing, calming my body. And finally, I got to go home and have cake to celebrate my son's 1-week birthday. There have been so many times in my life that I have been uprooted, shifted off course, forced to start over, feeling not in control. And then finally, I took control of stress, of anxiety, of my mindset, of my well-being. And that control can help me change the cycle of stress passed from parent to child. And I can teach my Matthew how to identify and manage his stress earlier than I learned how to. But it's not just him. I can share those skills with other people and help them find their own path to controlling their stress in a way that works for them. Transitions are hard. Starting over is really hard. But if you learn to manage your stress, it can be a lot easier. And that's why I'm teaming up with Jordana. This pandemic has just highlighted how stress is making us all so sick. So we need to work together, mind and body, if we want to get well and we want to stay well. And we could not do this if we didn't have Adina Rubin cheering us along. Adina, wave. Adina was one of our very first pilot participants. She believed in us and she joined this journey. And she now uses all of that behind the scenes knowledge to help us tell our story and to help us join in yours. And what we've learned over the past year is that a lot of these stories are pretty similar.
We are stuck in this vicious cycle. Stressed, tired, cranky. There's the pandemic, the economy, the kids' schools opening and closing again, jobs opening and closing, all the uncertainty of everything. And it's impacting our health too. The thing is, we were feeling that way before COVID. There were just so many distractions that we didn't really notice. Pandemic or no, people need help. We need support. We want to learn how to manage our stress and cope with it and manage our lives in a way that makes us feel healthy. We need a community of people so we feel less alone. We want to feel better every day. And now we want to tell you we have so many exciting things planned. We have all kinds of programs that we're working on together to help us all get there. We're going to be starting a group stress program in June that's going to be a 2-month program that we can learn together concrete coping skills.
We have a group program coming up where we'll help you eat right and move more so you can feel the best in the body that you have in a way that works for you.
We have some cooking classes where we'll be able to teach you how the food you eat interacts with your body.
We're working on putting together a wine tasting out east in Long Island so we can practice drinking mindfully and staying in touch with how we feel in our bodies.
And we have programs for parents to help their kids deal with the pandemic stress.
And through all of this together, we can create this sense of community. This place where we can all support each other so nobody's going through it alone. Because the evidence shows that this stress and isolation are killing us. Every program that Jordana and I run dives into the science behind how our emotions and our bodies interact. We teach specific exercises and techniques to use that connection in a way that can make us feel better instead of cranky. And it's not just about managing stress, it's about making our stress work for us.
But we don't just want to tell you about all of the things we have planned. We'd really like to have you try it out for yourselves. So if it's okay with all of you, I'd like to walk you through a 1 minute, I promise it will be short, a 1 minute mindful exercise, just to give you a little taste of what this is all about. So sit back, close your eyes if you want to, or just relax your gaze. And take a second to check in with your body. Take a couple of deep breaths and notice how you feel. Are you tense or relaxed? Focused or distracted? Are you with us right here, right now, in this moment? Or are you rehashing something that happened this morning or worrying about something that you're going to do later this afternoon? What's happening in your body? Are your muscles clenched? Is your heartbeat fast or slow? Where in your body do you normally carry your tension? And do you feel it there right now? Now just settle into your seat and let it all go. Whatever you're holding on to, just mentally set it aside for a minute. You'll get back to it later. Relax your body in your seat. If your eyes aren't already closed, you can close them now, or keep just relaxing your gaze. And just bring your attention to your breath. You don't need to do anything special, just notice it. Your body will keep breathing on its own. If your mind starts to wander, that's okay, it's normal. That's what minds are supposed to do. But just gently bring your focus back to your breath. And if you want, you can open your eyes now. If this helped you feel at all more relaxed today, then that makes me feel really happy. We're going to be doing a 5-day mind-body free challenge. So if this is the kind of thing that you liked, consider signing up for it. And like us on Facebook, just see what we're all about.
But most importantly, stay in touch. The world is starting to get busy again, and we're really going to need each other as we start over one more time.